The elevator doors opened to a hallway that smelled like expensive silence. A woman waited at the end, legs crossed, posture straight, eyes sharp enough to cut through glass. "Ethan Cross?" she asked. "Yeah." I kept my tone calm, though my pulse wasn't. "You're Isabella Vance?" She stood slow and deliberate. "I don't repeat myself, Mr. Cross. Sit." Her office looked more like a throne room than a workplace. Dim lights, black marble, and a single gold pen on the table. "You came highly recommended," she said. "Former soldier discharged with honors, private security for high-profile clients. You don't ask questions, you follow orders." "I follow reason," I said. "Orders come after that." Her lips twitched, almost a smile. "You'll learn that reason bends where money flows," I met her gaze. "Then tell me how much it bends." She slid a folder across the table. Inside, photos, addresses, contracts. "You protect me." "You obey me. You don't speak of what you see. In return, I pay you $200,000 a month." I stared at her. "That's not protection money. That's ownership." "Exactly," she said. "I own your silence." I closed the folder. "You think you can buy loyalty that easily?" "I don't buy loyalty," she said. "I rent it. And I pay better than anyone else." Her voice was smooth, but underneath it, something cold moved, like a shadow waiting for a command. "What are you afraid of, Miss Vance?" I asked. "Afraid?" She leaned forward. "You misunderstand. I don't hire protection because I fear people. I hire it so they fear me." The words landed heavy. I'd worked for rich people before, but none said things like that. "So what exactly do you expect me to do?" "Whatever it takes," she said. "Sometimes that means standing beside me. Sometimes it means standing in someone's way. And if that someone is innocent," she tilted her head, "then they should stay out of guilty places." I laughed quietly. "You really don't care who gets hurt, do you?" "I care about results," she replied. "You want a moral job, join the police. You want to survive, sign the paper." I looked down at the contract. 10 pages of rules, all written in her favor. Every sentence felt like a chain disguised as opportunity. "Who was the last person you hired for this?" I asked. "Dead," she said flatly. My hand froze. "You killed him?" "He disobeyed." "That's a form of suicide in my world." Her calmness made my skin crawl. "You think threats make loyalty stronger?" "No," she said. "Fear does." For a second, the room felt smaller. Her eyes held mine, unblinking. I saw nothing soft there, only calculation, precision, and something broken beneath the surface. I exhaled. "Why me?" "Because you're not scared easily," she said. "And because you need this money more than you admit." My jaw tightened. "You've done your research." "I don't hire strangers," she said. "I hire weaknesses." I wanted to walk out. Every instinct screamed to. But when I imagined the hospital bills, my mother's medicine, the empty fridge at home, it all turned to silence. I reached for the pen. She smiled faintly. "So you'll do it?" "I'll do it," I said. "But I don't take orders like a dog." "Then act like a wolf," she said softly. "Just remember who feeds you." Her tone was a warning disguised as grace. I signed the paper anyway, the pen heavy in my hand. She stood and extended her hand. "Welcome to my world, Mr. Cross." Her touch was cold. "You'll receive your first assignment tomorrow. Don't be late." As I walked toward the door, she called out, "One more thing. Never ask me why." "Just do it," I turned slightly. "That line ever work on anyone before?" "It always works," she said. "The smart ones never tested." I left without replying. The elevator doors closed behind me, and my reflection stared back. Same face, different eyes. I told myself it was just a job, just another deal to stay alive. But something about her voice lingered in my mind, whispering like smoke. She bought my silence, and as the elevator sank toward the ground floor, I realized the truth I didn't want to face. She hadn't just bought my silence. She'd bought my soul. The morning after signing the contract, her message came through. One line, no greeting. Address attached. Handle it by tonight. I drove for an hour before stopping outside an old warehouse. The man's name was Liam Shaw. She'd said he'd stolen from her. That was all I got. No explanation. No reason I called her. "You want to tell me what he took?" "Information," she said. "He's trying to damage my company." "What kind of information?" "The kind that ruins families." "Stop asking questions, Ethan. You're being paid to end problems, not study them." Her tone cut sharp. So I ended the call and went inside. The man was sitting on a stack of crates, thin, maybe mid-30s. He looked up, startled. "Who are you?" "I'm here to talk about Isabella Vance." His eyes widened. "She sent you?" "Depends on what you did," I said. He laughed bitterly. "What I did?" "I tried to tell the truth." "About what?" "Her father," he said. "About Daniel, her brother. About how Marcus Vance covered up his death." My pulse slowed. "What do you mean, covered up?" He grabbed a folder beside him and threw it toward me. "Read it. He killed his own son in a deal gone wrong. Isabella knows. She's cleaning the mess." I stared at the photos, an accident report, hospital notes, missing pages. "You expect me to believe this?" "Believe whatever you want," he said. "But if you're working for her, you're not protecting her. You're protecting murder." I looked around, checking the shadows. "If this is true, why are you still alive?" He smiled weakly. "Because I wanted her to know someone remembered Daniel for who he was, not the monster she's becoming." His voice shook. It didn't sound like a liar's. "You were his friend?" I asked. "I was his best friend," he said. "She blames my family for not saving him. Now she wants me gone," I exhaled slowly. The job had gone from simple to poisonous. "I'm not here to kill you," I said finally. "Not today," he frowned. "Then why come?" "To see the truth for myself." He stepped closer. "Then remember what you saw. When she asks, tell her you finished it. Maybe you'll live longer." I left without another word, the folder still in my hand. By the time I reached her mansion, it was past midnight. The guards opened the gate without a sound. She was waiting inside, sitting by the fire, glass of red wine in her hand. "You're late," she said. "Traffic. Did you handle it?" I hesitated. "Yes," she smiled faintly. "Good. Was it clean?" "Very." Her eyes lifted to mine. "You're lying," I forced a calm breath. "Does it matter?" "Everything matters to me, Ethan." She set down her glass. "When you lie, you insult my intelligence." "I told you I handled it," I said. "If you want proof, you'll get it." She studied me for a moment. "Do you know why I hired you?" "I assume because I'm efficient." "No," she said quietly. "Because you look like someone who's already crossed every moral line. Men like you don't hesitate. Maybe I'm trying to change that." "Don't," she whispered. "Change makes people weak." I watched her pour another drink. "You ever think weakness is what makes people human?" Her laugh was soft, cold. "You think I can afford to be human?" I didn't answer. The folder burned against my jacket. She leaned back, eyes glimmering in the firelight. "What did he say before he died?" My throat tightened. "He begged. For his life?" "For forgiveness." Her expression didn't flicker. "Pity," she said. "Forgiveness doesn't exist in my world." I nodded slowly. "Yeah, I'm starting to see that," she smiled faintly. "You did well tonight. You'll find the bonus in your account by morning. Generous." "I reward results," she said. "Rest while you can. Tomorrow will be worse." When I turned to leave, she spoke again, quieter. "Ethan, did you feel sorry for him?" I paused. "Would it matter if I did?" She took a sip of wine, her gaze never leaving mine. "Only if it slows you down." Outside, the night air hit me hard. I walked to my car, opened the folder one last time, and looked at Daniel's photo. He looked young. Too young. I closed it and shoved it into the glove compartment. My reflection in the window looked different. Colder. Older. She said she hired me because I'd already crossed the line. She was wrong. Tonight was the night I finally did. The days that followed were quiet. Too quiet. Isabella didn't mention Liam again. She acted like it never happened. I tried to do the same. One night, she called me to her study. "Sit," she said, motioning to the chair opposite her. "You look restless." "I'm fine. You're lying," she said. "You always are." Her voice was softer than usual. The firelight drew gold lines across her face, softening the sharpness I'd grown used to. "Do you ever sleep?" I asked. "Only when I forget," she said. "Forgetting is a luxury. Forget what?" She stared into her glass. The sound of my brother's scream. The silence after I leaned forward. "Daniel?" She nodded once. "He was 21. My father sent him to negotiate a deal. He never came back. What kind of deal kills a 21-year-old? The kind that makes a man rich enough to buy guilt." Her voice cracked on the word guilt, but she masked it quickly. "Your father covered it up," I said quietly. Her eyes met mine. You've been reading files you shouldn't. I had to understand what I'm protecting, she smirked. Protecting me or judging me? I'm not your judge, I said. But if you want me to guard your life, I need to know what it's worth. She set the glass down. You talk like a soldier who thinks war makes him moral. I talk like someone who's seen what blind loyalty costs. For a second, neither of us spoke. The air between us hummed with unspoken things. Anger, grief, something darker. Then she said, "Do you know what it's like to lose the only person who ever looked at you without fear?" I didn't answer right away. "Yeah," I said finally. "I do," she looked surprised. "Who?" "My brother." "Different kind of war, same ending." For the first time, she smiled. Not her usual cold smirk, a real one, small and human. "Then maybe you understand more than I thought." "Understanding isn't the same as agreeing," I said. Her smile faded. "It never is." We sat in silence for a while, just the crackle of the fire between us. Then she stood. "Walk with me." We moved down the hall, her heels clicking against marble. She stopped by a large window overlooking the city lights. "You know, Ethan, power is like this view, beautiful, distant, untouchable. Everyone wants it. Few survive it, do you?" I asked. "I don't survive," she said. "I adapt." I almost believed her strength was real, until I saw her reflection tremble slightly against the glass. "What's the point of adapting?" I asked. "If it costs you your soul?" "Souls are for poets," she said. "I prefer results." Her words sounded rehearsed, like armor. I wondered if she even remembered who she was before all this. We returned to her office, and Clara, the assistant, was waiting by the door, clutching a folder. "Miss Vance, the meeting notes. They're late," Isabella said. "I'm sorry," Clara whispered. "I was crying again?" Isabella's tone sliced the air. "In my company, tears are weakness." Clara's lip trembled. "I didn't mean, pack your things," Isabella interrupted. "You're done." "Please," Clara said. "It won't happen again." Isabella turned to me instead of her. "Ethan, escort her out." Clara looked at me, eyes red. "Please don't, I need this job." I hesitated. "She didn't do anything wrong." "Do it," Isabella said. Her voice carried no emotion. "Now," I clenched my jaw. "You're overreacting," she faced me slowly. "And you're forgetting your place." The room went silent. Clara grabbed her bag and ran out before I could stop her. When the door closed, I said, "You didn't have to humiliate her." "She humiliated herself," Isabella replied. "Crying in front of me is like bleeding in front of a shark." "That's not strength, Isabella." "That's fear," her expression hardened. "You think I don't know what fear is? I live with it every day. I just don't feed it." I wanted to say more, but the look in her eyes stopped me. Cold, distant, and filled with something I couldn't name. She turned away. "Go home, Ethan, we both need sleep." I started for the door, but her voice stopped me. "Ethan," I looked back. "Don't mistake my pain for weakness," she said. "Weak people die in my world. I intend to live," I nodded once. "Then try not to kill what's left of your heart doing it." She didn't reply. The fire behind her burned brighter than she did. As I stepped into the night air, I realized something dangerous. I'd seen her bleed, even if only for a second. And that made her more human than she wanted anyone to believe. But as the gates closed behind me, I reminded myself who she really was. A heart wrapped in ice. Beautiful, deadly, untouchable, and I was the fool standing too close to the flame. "Mr. Cole," Detective Heiress said, voice smooth but sharp. "Mind explaining why your employer's name keeps showing up in 3 separate investigations?" I leaned back in the chair, forcing a calm I didn't feel. "She runs half the city's business deals. Her name shows up everywhere." He smiled, but his eyes didn't. "And you? Ex-soldier. No records for 5 years, now suddenly guarding an heiress with a body count in her shadow." "I'm just paid to protect her," I said. "Not to explain her family." "Sure." He closed his notebook. "You ever wonder why she needs protection?" I didn't answer. Because I had every damn day. When I stepped out of the precinct, Ryan Holt was waiting by his car, arms crossed. Same grin, same eyes that had seen too much. "You look like hell," he said. "Good to see you too," I muttered. He shoved his hands in his pockets. "You know what people say about her?" "I've heard enough. They say she's poison, that she smiles while she ruins people. You're protecting the devil in silk, brother. I exhaled slowly. You think I don't know who she is? I think you pretend you don't, because it's easier than walking away. His words hit harder than they should have. You still working for people who pay in morals instead of money? Ryan smirked. At least my conscience sleeps fine. Good for you. I walked past him. Mine doesn't need rest. That night, Isabella stood by the window of her office, city lights reflecting in her wine glass. Heiress asked you questions, didn't he? I froze. You knew he would. She turned, eyes sharp as glass. He's been sniffing around my company for weeks. I expected you to handle it better. I did handle it, did you? She took a step closer. Because I don't pay you to talk to detectives. I pay you to keep them away. Her tone burned, but underneath there was something else. Fear. I caught it in the tremor of her hand before she hid it behind the glass. I'm not your shield against ghosts, I said quietly. No, she whispered. You're my sword. The silence that followed was heavier than any threat. Later in the penthouse kitchen, she joined me again, barefoot, no armor this time. Ryan Holt came to see you. I didn't ask how she knew. She always knew. He warned me about you. Her lips curved. He's not wrong. You're not denying it? Would it make you stay if I did? I looked at her, the softness around her eyes, the wine stain on her sleeve, and hated how human she suddenly looked. You could try, I said. She set the glass down and leaned on the counter. I don't need to try. You already stayed. She was right. And that scared me more than anything. The next morning, she was all steel again. Orders, schedules, silence. At lunch, she dismissed her assistant for crying over a missed file. That familiar cold mask returned, and I knew the night before had been a crack, one she'd sealed shut. That evening, she found me in the training room. You hesitated today, she said. I didn't. You did, she insisted. When I gave you an order, you paused. You don't get to pause. I'm not your machine. No, she said, eyes glinting. You're mine because you chose to be. Her words cut deeper than she intended. You don't own me, Isabella, don't I? She whispered. Then why are you still here? Before I could answer, her father's voice broke through the doorway. Ah, the loyal bodyguard, Marcus Vance drawled, swirling his brandy. Tell me, soldier, how much does my daughter pay for obedience these days? Enough, I said, he chuckled. She always did have a taste for broken things. Isabella's jaw tightened. Father, but Marcus only smiled wider. You should see how she collects them. Strays, soldiers, sinners. She loves fixing what's already ruined. Dinner's over, she snapped. He left laughing, his echo hanging in the marble hall. She didn't meet my eyes after that. Hours later, I stood alone on the balcony, city lights bleeding into the dark. His words replayed in my head. She loves broken things. Maybe he was right. Maybe that's why she kept me close, because I was already cracked. And that night, staring at my reflection in the glass, I finally wondered, not if she'd break me, but if I'd let her. I found the files behind a loose panel in the archive room. The folder had Daniel's name on it. I dumped the contents on the table, photos, hospital reports, receipts. A memo that read, Containment, Daniel Vance. My hands shook. You look like you found a ghost, Clara said from the doorway. Not a ghost? I flipped a photo. Daniel's face looked young and trusting. A murder, Clara's throat moved. You shouldn't be here. Neither should you. How long has this been hidden? I asked. Since the incident, she said. People in power bury things. Her eyes met mine. Isabella knows. You knew? I laughed, raw. She hired me to erase ghosts, not dig them up. They're not ghosts to her, Clara said. They're answers. She's been looking for proof. I held a receipt payment to a fixer dated the week Daniel disappeared. This says Marcus paid someone to contain him, Clara finished. Not an accident. A containment. You mean kill him? She didn't argue. Do you think she didn't know? She's been waiting. I left with the folder and went to her study. She watched me slide the papers across her desk. You were thorough, she said. Calm, almost bored. You knew. My voice cracked. Your father ordered Daniel's death. She folded her fingers. I know enough. Enough to hire a man to erase people? I snapped. Enough to plan, she replied. I had to learn the rules before I broke them. Why wait? I demanded. Why let him keep the power? Because acting without proof makes you a monster, she said. Proof gives power. Power gives choice, and so you chose revenge. Anger cut me. I chose control, she said. You supplied strength. I supplied a course. You don't want justice, I said. You want them punished, she smiled, bitter. Justice is for courts. I don't trust courts. I don't want judgment. I want them to drown. Her voice softened like someone naming a wound. I want them to feel what they made others feel. Tears leaked from her eyes. For a second, she looked human. Do you blame me? She whispered. Yes, I said. I blame you for making me part of this. She walked to the window. City lights framed her. My father made the rules. I learned them. I adapted. By breaking people, I asked. By listing names and ruining lives? I didn't kill them, she said. I hollowed them out. I took what they loved. That hurts in a way death doesn't. Her hands trembled. Do you think I sleep? Daniel is in my dreams. You see him in your dreams and you become the nightmare, I said. A cold certainty settled. You're not fighting evil. You are it. Her face went hard. She wiped her cheeks like she was ashamed of the tears. If being terrible keeps me from being hurt, I will be terrible, she said. Leave if you want. I nearly walked away. The idea felt like clean air. But I pictured more names, more lists, more erased faces. I signed to protect a life, I said. Not to drown everyone who hurt you, she smiled thinly. You'll learn, or you'll break. You used me to hurt people, I said. You ruined businesses, broke marriages, left men without meaning. I broke what needed breaking, she said. I didn't stage accidents. I exposed sins quietly, bank records, secrets, affairs. I turned their pleasures into punishments. You call that justice? I asked. You make people watch their lives rot. Slow is efficient, she said. Slow lets guilt settle like a stone. You've done this for years? I asked. Years, she said. Daniel taught me patience. I learned to pull threads until they snapped. What if someone dies? I demanded. Then I am careful, she said. Careful, Ruthless? She leaned close, eyes bright. I don't want justice, she said. I want them to drown. I stepped back. You're drowning with them. Maybe that's the point, she whispered. I stayed. The order came through at midnight. Liam Shaw, a journalist. Expose him, I asked. No, Isabella said. Erase him. I stared at the name. He's not a killer. He's writing the truth. She poured herself whiskey. Truth is dangerous when it belongs to the wrong mouth. He's just doing his job, I said. So are you, she replied, calm as ice. I pay you to protect me. Protecting me means silence. My stomach twisted. Silence or murder? Call it correction, she said, setting the glass down. He's stirring ghosts that should stay buried. I leaned forward. You mean your father's crimes? Her eyes narrowed. You forget your place. No, I said. I finally remember it. She didn't blink. You'll do it. Or you'll regret not doing it. I took the file, walked out, but my chest burned. Liam's address was a cheap apartment in the South District. I parked outside, engine humming like a restless thought. When he opened the door, his eyes widened. You're the Vance enforcer, right? I'm not here for a fight, I said. Then what are you here for? To tell you to stop. He laughed, bitter and fearless. You think warning me changes anything? Her father murdered Daniel. People deserve to know. I know, I said quietly. He froze. Then why protect her? I didn't answer. He stepped closer. You're better than her. Walk away. I left without drawing the gun. My hands trembled. For the first time in months, I felt clean. When I returned to the mansion, Isabella was waiting in the dark hall. The air smelled of wine and fire. You didn't do it, she said. I couldn't. She rose slowly, her eyes cold flames. You disobeyed me. I spared someone who didn't deserve to die. Her voice cracked. You don't get to decide that. I just did. She slammed the glass against the wall. You were supposed to be mine. Her scream filled the room, sharp and raw. "I made you. I trusted you. I gave you everything." "You gave me orders," I said, "and I followed them until I forgot who I was." She took a step closer, tears streaking her face. "You think you're free? You think walking away makes you clean? You're part of every sin I committed." "I know," I whispered, "but I'm done adding more." She laughed in a sound like glass cutting skin. "You think he'll live long? My father will crush him." "Then he'll crush me too," I said, "but at least I'll face it awake." "You'll regret this," she hissed. "Probably," I said, "but I'll regret staying more." She reached out, fingers trembling. "Don't walk away from me." I looked at her, the woman who bought my silence, molded my loyalty, and called it love. "Goodbye, Isabella. Don't you dare." I turned before she finished. Her voice followed me down the corridor, echoing through marble and memory. "You were supposed to be mine." The guards watched but didn't stop me. Outside, the wind hit my face, cold and sharp. The gates closed behind me with a heavy clang that felt like judgment. I walked to my car, but I didn't start it. I just sat there, hands on the wheel, breathing like a man who'd been underwater too long. For the first time, the air hurt. Raw, real, free. I saw her silhouette in the window, a shadow framed by luxury and loneliness. Maybe she hated me. Maybe she would destroy me. But I wasn't her weapon anymore. I drove away before I could change my mind. The mansion lights faded in the mirror. Her voice still echoed in my head, wild and broken. "You were supposed to be mine." And somewhere between fear and freedom, I whispered back, "I was never yours." The headlines hit like bullets. "Vance empire crumbles, Marcus Vance arrested." I read the words again and again, hoping they'd change. They didn't. Liam called me that morning. "You see it?" "Yeah," I said. "You did it. We did it," he corrected. Detective Heiress finally got the warrants. "Years of rot exposed. Marcus?" I asked. "In custody?" "The man's empire is dust." I leaned against the wall. "And Isabella?" "Silence, Liam. She's gone," he said quietly. "Vanished before dawn. No trail, no plane logs. Like she evaporated." "She doesn't vanish," I muttered. "She plans. Maybe," he said. "Or maybe she finally broke." I hung up, but his words stuck. The TV blared her name, her photo flashing beside her father's mugshot. "Isabella Vance missing heiress." Reporters speculated. Some said she ran. Others said she helped destroy her father and disappeared to start over. None of them knew her like I did. That night, I sat in my empty apartment staring at the folder I should have burned weeks ago. The files about Daniel, the lies, the proof. Every page was soaked in ghosts. The door knocked. "Maya?" She stood there holding 2 coffees. "You look worse than I expected." "Good to see you too," I said, taking one. She sat on the couch, scanning the scattered papers. "So it's true. You worked for her. Worked. Past tense, she used you," she said. "And you let her. She needed protection. She needed control," she snapped. "There's a difference." I rubbed my face. "You wouldn't understand." "I do, actually," she said softly. "You thought saving her would save you." Her words hit deep. "I tried to keep her from falling." "She jumped," Maya said, "and dragged you halfway with her." I looked at her exhausted. "You think I should just forget it?" "No," she said. "But you don't owe her your soul anymore." I stared into my coffee. "Maybe I don't, but she still has it." "Then take it back," Maya said. "Start by forgiving yourself." The clock ticked. Somewhere a siren wailed. The city moved on, but my mind stayed trapped in her voice. Sharp, calm, commanding. "She's out there," I said quietly. "You can't know that. I can feel it." I stood and looked out the window. "She's too careful to get caught. Too proud to beg. She's alive," Maya sighed. "And if she is? Then she's planning her next move," I said. "She never stops." Maya rose, touched my arm. "Don't chase ghosts, Ethan." "I'm not chasing," I said. "I'm remembering." She gave me a sad smile. "Then remember this too, you're free now." When she left, the silence returned. I watched the rain smear the city lights, the reflection of my face ghosting against the glass. Isabella once said, "Freedom is a luxury only the guilty can afford." I used to think she was wrong. Now I wasn't so sure. The news played again. Reporters at the courthouse shouted questions about Marcus Vance's crimes: fraud, bribery, obstruction, conspiracy to murder. No mention of the daughter who had orchestrated half of his downfall. She'd won in a way. But at what cost? I opened my drawer and pulled out her last note, scrawled on expensive paper. "If I fall, make sure it's loud." It was loud. It shook the city. And now she was gone. I poured the coffee down the sink, leaned back against the counter, and whispered, "You got what you wanted. Isabella." The words hung in the air, empty and final. But deep down, a question burned. Where did she go? Did she run because she was scared or because she was free? I'd never know. Not until I saw her again. And if that day came, I wasn't sure whether I'd embrace her or stop her. Either way, I knew one thing. Isabella Vance wasn't finished, and maybe neither was I. The bell above the cafe door chimed, and I froze. I didn't need to look up to know it was her. That same quiet confidence filled the air like perfume. "Ethan." Her voice hadn't changed. Smooth, low, deliberate. I forced myself to meet her eyes. "You shouldn't be here." "I had to see you," she said, sliding into the seat across from me. No guards, no diamonds. Just a beige coat and tired eyes. "You vanished," I said. "Half the world's looking for you." "Half the world," she murmured, stirring her coffee, "has always wanted something from me." "And what do you want from me now?" She looked up, a faint smile on her lips. "You were the only one who saw me, Ethan." I almost laughed. "I saw what you wanted me to see." "That's not true," she said. "You saw the part I tried to kill. The part that still bleeds." I leaned back. "You think words make you human again? Do you think running makes you free?" She countered. "I heard about your new job. Security consultant. Normal life. Ordinary pay. Do you feel clean?" Her words hit harder than I wanted them to. "I'm trying to live without blood on my hands." "There's no such thing," she said softly. "Not for people like us." I stared at her. "There's no us, Isabella," she smiled faintly. "You keep saying that, but you're here." "I didn't know it was you," I said. "Maya set up this meeting. She said a client wanted advice." Her laugh was soft, almost genuine. "Smart woman. Still trying to save you?" "She's not you." "No," she said. "She's not." She leaned forward, voice low. "But she'll never understand you like I do." "I don't want understanding," I said. "I want distance." Her fingers brushed the rim of her cup. "I lost everything. My father's empire, my name, my accounts. They froze it all. I'm surviving on cash I hid years ago, but I can rebuild," I sighed. "And this is where I come in, right?" She didn't flinch. "You were the best thing that ever worked for me." "I wasn't working for you," I said. "I was surviving you." Her smile didn't break. "Survival is loyalty by another name." "Don't twist it." "I'm not twisting anything," she said. "You want purpose. I can give it back to you." I shook my head. "You haven't changed." "I have," she said quickly. "You think I don't feel guilt? You think I don't hear Daniel's name every night?" Her voice cracked just slightly. "I paid for my sins. With exile?" I asked. "That's not punishment. That's strategy." Her expression hardened. "Maybe both." "You still want the empire," I said. "You want to rebuild it under another name." Her eyes flickered. That was all the confirmation I needed. "You can't save it," I said. "It's over." "I don't want to save it," she whispered. "I want to take what's left and burn the rest." I stood up. "Then burn it alone." She looked up at me, eyes glistening but steady. "You'll come back," she said. "Don't count on it. You always do," she whispered. Something in her tone made me stop. For a heartbeat, I saw the woman she might have been. Not the heiress, not the manipulator, but the girl who once cried over a dead brother. For a second, I wanted to believe her. Then I remembered Liam's bruised face, Clara's silence, the lives she'd crushed to build her empire. "I'm not your weapon anymore," I said. She smiled faintly. "No, but you're still my weakness." "That's your mistake," I said, and walked toward the door. "Ethan!" she called after me. I stopped but didn't turn. "If I fall again," she said, "will you let me drown?" I closed my eyes. "Yes," the door chimed as I stepped out. The cold air hit me like clarity. Behind me, the cafe faded into background noise. I didn't look back, but I could feel her smile. calm, confident, inevitable. "You'll come back," she'd said. Maybe she was right. Or maybe for once she wasn't. The red and blue lights painted the night like a nightmare I couldn't wake from. My phone buzzed nonstop, calls, alerts, warrants. My name on every screen. She'd framed me. Isabella Vance, the woman I once protected with my life, had set me up for her father's escape. I slammed my car door shut and gritted my teeth. "You really did it, didn't you?" I muttered, driving through the rain. Every street corner screamed my guilt. Every turn took me closer to her. The mansion stood like a ghost. Burned walls, shattered glass, silence thick as smoke. I kicked the gate open and stepped through. She was waiting on the balcony, a shadow against lightning. "Ethan!" she called, voice calm, almost welcoming. "Don't say my name!" I shouted. "Not after what you did," she tilted her head. "You always come back angry. It's part of your charm. You framed me," I said, climbing the steps. "You used my access codes, my name, everything. They think I freed your father." Her eyes flickered. "He needed a chance to disappear. You were the perfect distraction. So I'm your scapegoat now?" She gave a hollow laugh. "You taught me strategy. You told me survival means sacrificing the expendable." I clenched my fists. "I never said betray the only person who still believed in you," she sighed. "Belief doesn't rebuild empires, Ethan. Ruthlessness does." "Empire?" I stepped closer. "You have nothing left. Look around you. This place is dead. You killed it yourself," she smirked. "And yet you're still here. Why?" "Because I needed to see your face when the truth hits you." "Truth?" she repeated, amused. "Truth is a weapon. I just learned to use it better." Rain pounded harder. Sirens echoed faintly in the distance. "You called them, didn't you?" I said. Her silence was my answer. "I'm done being your pawn." "You were never a pawn," she said softly. "You were my equal." "You just didn't see it," I shook my head. "You don't even understand equality. You only understand control." She stepped closer, lightning flashing behind her. "You think I wanted to hurt you? You wanted to win, and I was in the way." Her lips trembled, barely noticeable. "You taught me how to fight, Ethan. I just learned too well." For a second, I almost believed she regretted it. Almost. "Congratulations," I said bitterly. "You beat me." "No," she whispered. "I destroyed the only person who ever saw me." The sirens grew louder. Red light flooded the mansion windows. "They're coming," I said. She gave a faint, broken laugh. "Then finish it. Tell them I'm here. Be the hero this time." I stared at her, every memory clawing at my chest. "You wanted a weapon," I said quietly. "You forgot weapons can turn." Her face shattered. Fear first, then something deeper. Regret. "Ethan." But I was already walking away. "Ethan," she called again, voice cracking. "Please," I didn't stop. My boots splashed through puddles, each step heavier than the last. Behind me, shouts filled the night. "Police, hands up!" I turned once, just once. She stood in the doorway, pale, rain-soaked, unarmed. For a moment, her eyes met mine, pleading, almost human again. Then the officers surrounded her. "Isabella Vance," one of them barked. "You're under arrest." She didn't fight. She didn't speak. She just watched me. I felt something twist in my chest. But I kept walking. The rain washed the blood, the lies, the years away. By the time I reached the gate, the mansion lights were swallowed by the storm. Somewhere behind me, she screamed my name. Or maybe it was just thunder. Either way, I didn't turn back. The city feels quieter than it should. Maybe it's me. Maybe I've grown used to chaos. I sit by the window of my small apartment, pen in hand, a letter half written on the table. Rain falls against the glass like an old rhythm I can't forget. Ethan Cole, the TV anchor says, former security consultant involved in the Vance scandal, declined to comment. I smile faintly. Declined to comment. That's one way to say I've learned to shut up. Her face flashes across the screen. Isabella Vance. Prison orange can't dull her beauty. The same defiance burns in her eyes as when she ruled her empire. The interviewer asks, "Do you regret anything, Ms. Vance?" She pauses, lips curling. "Regret is for the powerless." I switch the TV off. The silence after her voice feels heavier than the city itself. "Still dangerous," I mutter. "Even caged." I stare at the letter again. The words on the page blur. rewritten a dozen times, but I can't stop myself. Maybe it's the only way to make peace with ghosts. Dear Isabella, I whisper aloud, testing the words. I start writing again. You bought my silence, but not my soul. The ink spreads slightly, as if the paper itself knows what that means. You taught me that survival isn't living. It's choosing who you refuse to become. I pause, staring at the sentence. I want to tear it up, burn it, forget it, but I can't. There's a knock at the door. It's Maya. She steps inside, her eyes scanning the cluttered room. You're watching her again? She asks quietly. I shrug. Habit dies slower than people. You should move on, she says. You did what you could. I walked away, I say. That's not the same thing. She destroyed everything that touched her, Ethan, including herself. You survived. That's enough, I shake my head. Surviving isn't the same as living. She sits across from me, her tone softening. Then live. Stop chasing ghosts. I look out at the rain again. She used to say the same thing, only about enemies. Maya sighs. You still love her? Love? I laugh under my breath. No, love would have saved her. What I feel is unfinished. Then finish it, she says, nodding toward the letter. I fold it slowly, sealing the words inside with my thumb. It's not meant to be sent. Then why write it? So I can remember who I chose not to become. She studies me for a long moment, then reaches for her coat. You always needed closure that hurts. Peace never comes cheap, I say. At the door, she hesitates. You ever think she regrets it? What she did to you? I stare at the folded letter. If she does, she'll never say it. When she leaves, the apartment falls silent again. Only the rain remains, steady, cleansing, endless. I open the drawer beside me and place the letter inside. For a second, my reflection in the window aligns with hers from the news. Two ghosts bound by silence. I whisper, You taught me well, Isabella. The city hums outside. Cars, laughter, the rhythm of a world moving on without us. Maybe that's peace. Not forgiveness. Not victory, just the quiet that comes when the fighting stops. I close my notebook. Kill the lights and let the darkness settle. Somewhere across the ocean, she's still a name people whisper, still a storm locked behind walls. But I'm done chasing storms. For the first time in years, I feel still. The letter remains unsent, a truth folded neatly away. A final act of silence between two people who once mistook destruction for love. I breathe out slowly, almost smiling. She taught me survival. I learned peace.